Welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Our objective is to enthuse, inspire, energize, and empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes here in BW and beyond. We do so by inviting these entrepreneurs into our makeshift studio. Sometimes we call them to the restaurant, sometimes we go to our studio, and we ask them to share their experiential knowledge, their experiences and their expertise. And we ask them as many questions as we can, aimed at empowering you also as a viewer. Hello dear viewer and listener, Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe here. Let me welcome you as always to another episode of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. It's always a pleasure and a privilege to come to you to bring in you some life-changing business information and to update you as to what's happening in our ecosystem and bring you more entrepreneurs and enthuse, inspire and energize you as we always strive to do. So please, but do me a little favor, strike that subscribe button. I need your help. We need to work on these algorithms like I'm always saying, and most importantly we need to keep this thing going and get to higher numbers. Thank you so much and welcome to the studio, Mr. Motheo Kgengwenyane. We're going to talk about technology. Yeah, Motheo Kgengwenyane. Yes. We're going to talk about technology, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Just do a short introduction and tell the people about yourself and the businesses the business you're involved in.
Okay. Hi viewers. I'm Motheo Kgengwenyane. I am the CEO of Great Techno. Great Techno is a technology company. It has a branch of companies that started off with Great Techno Industries, which was started off as an agri-tech company supplying crop monitoring sensors and the software to monitor them. And then we branched off into Great Techno Web Services, which does augmented reality and virtual reality for clients. You know, if a construction company wants to train their employees, instead of getting, like, let's say they want to train them to use a crane. So instead of actually going to the physical crane and everything, what we do is they come with us, we work with them to create a virtual world in which the crane is there and everything they want them to learn is there in that world. So then all they do is just put on the VR headsets and then they use the controller.
What headsets?
Virtual reality headsets. And then they use the controller and it simulates them using a crane. So it's more affordable, it's safer, and they can use it for longevity.
Okay. We're going to get into all that momentarily, but academically, share a little bit of your background.
Academically, I did my A-levels here at Mogobe. And then after I did my A-levels, which was 2019, I finished in 2019. And then I went off to university in the UK, University of Kent. I'm doing economics with econometrics.
What is econometrics?
Econometrics is like the heavy math side and the modeling and the statistics and models of the economics. So this is actually looks at the raw data, the actual raw data, and turns it into readable data for people who don't do econometrics.
And you did this whilst studying?
Yeah, I'm running the business as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We are doing. Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
How do you resolve the conflict in terms of time?
Yeah, time is constrained, so I had to sacrifice a lot. So I have like one or two friends now because I had to stop hanging out and just chilling and all those things. I don't go out, I don't drink, I don't do anything. All I'm doing is work, and if it's not work, I'm doing schoolwork. So literally that's my life right now. And I had to sacrifice a lot.
Yeah. Tell me how the idea for the business started.
The idea, I've always been interested in business, but not business for sake, but I've always had a problem with being a consumer and not a producer. You know, I've never been comfortable being a consumer, and then I was stuck with what businesses should I do. So then my dad came and he said, okay, Monty, take all your goals and all your aspirations and everything and multiply it by 10. And that's what you should aim for. So this is 10x thinking. So then now, because of that, I just didn't take it in that space. I took it everywhere in my life. So whatever I'm doing, I just multiply by 10 and I know, okay, that's what I should be going for. So in business, I was like, I need to start somewhere. Okay, so I start, okay, what can I start with? I can start with supplying. That's easy. But the long-term goal is to launch the first rocket to space from Botswana.
Wow.
So that's to have a space company here. That's the long-term goal. That's what everything I'm doing is working towards that.
I'm going to be getting deeper and deeper into that, and we will discuss that when we talk about your 10-year program. But for now, let's talk about your dad, because you mentioned how influential he is. Some might not know who he is and what he does.
Yeah, my dad is Motheo Kgengwenyane. He runs Innolead Consulting. It's one of the leading consultancy firms here.
Innolead?
Yeah, Innolead Consulting, yeah. It's one of the leading consultancy firms here in Botswana. They do project management, business consulting, all sorts of things. But now they are shifting.
He's been a guest a few times here.
Yeah, no, he's been here. He's been here. He loves coming here and talking.
Yeah.
No, he loves talking.
Yeah, well, I love talking to him.
No, he's very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
No, he's been very influential in the way I do things. Like dollars, someone I can go to for advice.
So the company, is it based in Botswana or in the UK?
So it started off, I registered here first in Botswana, and then doing here in Botswana, there's a lot of paperwork and things are not digitized, and a lot of unnecessary red tape, not things to incentivize.
Too much bureaucracy.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I have my dream, I need to achieve it, but this is wasted time in my opinion. I don't need to allocate my time there. So then I was like, okay, since I'm schooling in the UK, let me register here in the UK. So then I registered in the UK, and everything I do is run from the UK. And then, as we grew and grew, that's when we started spreading across the world.
What was the first major task of the business, and how exciting was that?
The first major task was opening the US office. That was very difficult. It was very difficult because of the time zones. Mainly.
The US where?
In LA, in Los Angeles,
yeah,
California. That was hard because of the time zone, and I under budgeted. The amount of money that allocated was way more than what was there. So, and my business model, I don't do investors, I don't do loans, I don't do any of that. So everything I do is from money that I earned from the company,
from your customers, from doing business.
From doing business. When I started off, it was my allowance. All my allowance was going there, and now that the business has cash, everything I do is from there. So that was the most difficult thing, And the US market, it's so competitive. Oh my word! The startups in LA. Then startup being born every second. It's so competitive. Getting your first customer. Oh, jeez. Oh man, that was hard. That was very difficult. But yeah.
So make the viewer understand the importance of determining the cost of customer acquisition and the challenge around that.
Yeah. The cost is it's very important, because if you allocate a certain budget to it, and your company's budget constrained, and you go over budget, you're basically done, because now there's no funds to actually acquire the first customer. You've overspent, and now there's nothing available. So that's money wasted, because you really can't do anything because there's no funding at all. So it's very important to get that right. Otherwise, it's a complete disaster in your plan, in your strategic plan. We were lucky because Great Techno had some extra cash available to carry on financing it. But if we didn't, I don't know what we would have done really in that whole plan.
The key question is always, what is the problem that you're solving? What do you say is the problem that you are solving as a company?
We're doing quite a lot, because there's Great Techno Web Services, which does virtual reality and augmented reality.
Let's go one by one. Which one?
So there's Great Techno Web Services.
Yes. What is it? What problem is that one solving?
That one is solving safety, training, and training remotely, and also digitizing companies. Doing manual work and all the things, the hard skills. Companies which trying to do the hard skills. What we're bringing is a way for them to train their employees, their customers in a way that's safe, long-term, cost-effective. It's very affordable, and the main thing is safety. because if you look at the amount of people who have injuries and accidents during their training period for the hard skills,
you mean in the construction area? Or
yeah, mainly construction, mining, those things. They shouldn't be more than one, to be honest. So we're solving that problem. We're solving their costs.
So what is your differentiator there before we talk about the other ones?
My different, I would say there are not a lot of people in that space. There are not a lot of companies in that space. My differentiator is that we do things remotely, so we don't need to be one-on-one to do it. We work with you, and also we want to be customer-centric, highly customer. We want the customer to feel like they had an input in their own product, in their own solution. So we work with them step by step. I think it's 6 steps for creating the world. So we work with them all throughout the whole 6 steps.
You're talking about when God created the world before He rested on the 7th day.
Yeah,
you're following that model.
It's coincident. I didn't realize. Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of now the other business, what problem is it solving?
So we have the latest one. Okay, let's go about Grey Techno Web Services. We have Grey Menu.
Grey
Menu.
What does it do?
So that runs for restaurants, cafes, bars. It's basically we digitize. It provides a digital menu using the QR code. So restaurants will have a QR code here at their table, and you just scan the QR code. It takes you to the restaurant's menu. You can order on your phone, pay on your phone, and then your food just comes. So during COVID, that's where we had our biggest boom. I mean, it was ridiculous how much, Yeah, because
in the US, where the boom took
in
place?
the UK, in
the
Europe,
UK.
in Europe,
not in the US.
No, in the US, we weren't doing Grey Menu in the US at that time.
Okay, yeah.
The boom.
Is it still booming?
Yeah, it's still going because people are going in that direction. It cut costs for restaurants significantly. During COVID, it was safe because you have less waiters and waitresses and people interacting in the restaurant.
So which countries are you active in on that one?
We were active in the UK, in Germany and Netherlands.
Netherlands?
Yeah.
Wow. So you must have an army of employees.
No, not really. So my business model, I try to do low cost because of no investors, no loans, no debt. So I do things myself, but then also I just hire sales representative, and then I start off them with the commission. So they take a part, and then after the commission, I see after 6 months they've done a terrific job. And I'm like, okay, now we can pay you a reliable salary. And then now that's where we move on to the salary, and then we have a few people there, and then we just hire as a need be basis. Yeah.
So how many sales agents do you have? I mean, sales
around the world?
Yeah.
Around the world, close to 50.
50.
Yeah,
okay.
if I look at how many people we're paying between 50,
others are on commission.
Yeah, others are on commission.
So
These are the people
they're independent agents.
Yeah.
So if we include those,
between 100 and 150.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And no brick and mortar.
No.
No offices.
No offices. No, we don't do physical offices.
Except for headquarters.
In the UK.
Okay.
But otherwise, no.
We've talked about
offices.
2. Let's talk about the other businesses.
We have Grey Vault.
Grey Vault.
Yeah, Grey Vault. So what we do there is, in Botswana, when I was here, I was like, I want to invest. I want to do long-term planning in my financial plan. As an individual. And I was like, let me buy some gold and then store it in the vault. But that service wasn't available here. I couldn't do that. So I was like, okay, I can't be the only one thinking I want to do this. So then, and in order to do that, you have to go through third parties, and they take a commission. Your financial planner, those companies, that's the big ones. So I was like, okay, let me do that. Let me make it easy for Botswana to invest in gold. So what we do is we do bullion gold. So it's 24 carats in them, and they can purchase their gold on our website, and then it's stored in a vault, and that vault is insured. It's safely, and it goes through audits, so it's trustworthy. You can't invest if there's no trust. So Grey Vault does that. It's for individuals to invest in gold, in physical gold.
I want to climb right inside your mind to discuss and to understand your ideation process. How did it start, and how does the ideation process work?
It works by reading a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I read a tremendous amount. I subscribe to Science Magazine, the latest breakthrough in biology, chemistry, physics, tech, and then I also read a lot of economics papers, so socio-economic problems, those things. And then while I'm reading, and then maybe you're in the shower or something, and then an idea comes.
Mm-hmm.
But that idea is from gaining the knowledge,
mm-hmm.
and then your brain just, your subconscious is just constantly thinking, and then when it comes to your conscious, an idea like, or either just like the gold one, it's just a simple problem, and I was like, let me just provide a solution. I always think if I'm not the only one experiencing this problem, so let me provide a solution. But the ideation is just from reading a lot.
Wow.
And
you mentioned your dad's concept of 10x, which is also propagated by a certain Dan Sullivan, who I follow on LinkedIn. And I'm talking about a guy who in the 70s is making 25-year plans. How have they impacted you, Dan Sullivan's thinking on 10x, specifically on 10x? And how did you convert it from an idea to a practical, the implementation? Because in Botswana we are normally stuck with implementation, moving from ideation to implementation.
So the way those guys are brilliant, first of all. I mean, their thinking it's next level. I've always wanted to think in that way, exponential thinking. So I applied to Singularity University because the 10x program, Singularity University, they take part. I mean, they're one of the reasons that SpaceX is there. They had all these companies going to space, but I'll talk about them. But Dan Sullivan his thinking was 10x and then exponential organizations. So 10x is, basically just long-term thinking. So what I did is I had a transcendent goal for the company, and then I just differentiated down from there. So, if the company...
It's almost like reverse engineering.
Yeah, I don't go from the idea and then work my way up to the end goal. I work from the end goal and I break it down into smaller steps, then those smaller steps into smaller goals, into achievable tasks. And then so the part where you talk about implementation is those smaller tasks, they're meant to help you implement. So like if you wanna go run to Francistown, you just can't run to Francistown. You have to plan it, you have to break it down. Okay, run to Francistown this many kilometers. I need to maintain a heart rate of this when I'm running. How do I get there? How do I get there? How do I get there? How do I get from this to there? And then break it down. Okay, I need to start by first running 1 kilometer or 500 meters. And then you break it down up until there to achievable tasks. And once you're there, implementation becomes very easy.
Can you give an example of, in one of the companies, how you did that? Maybe without going to too many specifics. Some of it is IP, but just generally.
Okay, one of them is I think let me take the group of companies because there are quite a few. The main thing is to have a space company, and that's space company, aerospace company in Botswana, but that requires a lot of capital. So that's the goal. Okay, now I break it down. I need a lot of cash. And not
tons
only
of
that,
cash.
tons of cash. And not only that, I need it to be sustainable, and I need the company to be running for at least 15-20 years. If I'm doing it now, I can trust that the company funding it will be there for the next 20 years. So I broke it down, worked it into there. I was like, okay, now I need to start a group of companies because one company is not going to do it. I need to start a group of companies.
Because you knew that in Botswana nothing is going to happen.
Yeah, in Botswana, no. I mean, we have a population of 2 million. I'm not going to get anything from there, so I need to take also the amount of cash required to do that is I need the population of the globe, the consumer base of the globe.
Also, you wanted hard currency, isn't it?
I think the other day my dad was asking me what revenue did we make in the last quarter. My uncle was asking me what revenue did I make in the last quarter, and I told him about 500,000 euros. That was our revenue for the last quarter. And
last quarter as in 3 months?
Yeah, 3 months.
500,000 euros.
Yeah, about.
That's mind-boggling.
Yeah, I think 560 to be specific. Yeah.
For the group.
Yeah, for the group.
Okay.
Yeah, so 500,000 euros. So I work in euros or dollars or pounds. I don't do bullets or anything
At all.
Yeah, no.
Bullets are
Except when I'm
chicken
up.
change.
Yeah. Yeah. So we work in hard currency, and so I just broke it down into things, and then we started the group of companies which will fund the end goal.
I want to go back a little bit as to how you initially changed your thinking, because your colleagues, your peers think, is it lateral thinking?
Yeah.
Or linear thinking?
Yeah, linear thinking.
You've gone lateral.
Yeah, I've gone
How did you go from linear to lateral? And there must have been something like an epiphany to change that mindset.
So I was lateral linear thinking up until 2019.
2019.
Yeah, when I was doing my A levels, I was going out a lot, I was partying a lot, and then I think December 2019, I was like, is this what I'm gonna do?
Is this the rest of my life?
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep going with what the current, when they say 20s university, after that get a job, save for your retirement, and they're like, that bores me. Yeah. And then I started reading a lot in December 2019. Then I asked my dad if I can work for his company, because
InnoLead.
Yeah, InnoLead. No, Digital High, because he also owns Digital High Technologies. Digital High Technologies. So I started working for them because I want to be in the technology space. So I went because I knew my current way of thinking is not going to do it. If I start a business now, I'm going to do small time business. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to probably be happy with 5 million Pula revenue for a whole year, for a whole financial year. If I would go with that thinking, I was like, no, I need thinking where if I make 500,000 euros in a quarter, I'm like, it's still not enough. I'm not there. It's still too small. That's where I am now. But before there, it was unimaginable. There was no way. So then I went to work for his companies. I started talking more with my dad. I started reading the stuff my dad reads, because he was an upper tier thinker than I was. So I had to. So the switch was really, am I going to live like this? Like, take your next 10 years, Monty. Is this going to be how you're going to be doing it? And I was like, no,
I don't want to me.
Yeah, it's not okay. I have a moral obligation to myself and to other people to do what I think is meaningful. Not do what I think is expected of me or anything. No. So that was the twist, because doing that made me want to gain the knowledge, made me want to take initiative.
What notable milestones or successes your group of companies has achieved?
The notable ones I would say is our first year. I thought we were gonna not make any profit. Because I was told that when you start a business, the first 3 years just expect to run at a loss.
The 1,000 day rule that look, it's gonna be rough. You won't.
That's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So my mindset went into that, but I was very surprised. I was just like, because I think I wasn't focused on the numbers. I was focused on what can I do to make customers come back. Customer retention. What can I do? What can I do that when customers come and do business with us, they'll be like, I need to go back to them. Man, these guys, man, they were with me the whole way. They were like, it was a different experience, So the most notable thing was the first year, our profit. I think we made about 10% profit our first year, which was a big shocker. So then that changed everything, because that was like, okay, Monty, everything might be wrong. You actually don't know anything, So I went into that, changed my mindset, and that changed, and my mindset changed. So that trickled down to everyone I work with. It trickled down to that thing. So that was a shift in mindset. And then I think the next notable one was our expansion from the UK. Our expansion was,
across the pond, as they say.
Yeah.
Across the Atlantic to the US.
To the US. That was first of all, the fact that it was successful. I mean, that was a shocker, because it's highly competitive. I was very shocked. You hear about the tech companies, and you're like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But then when you're actually in there,
are you talking Silicon Valley?
Yeah, but we're not there. But I mean, like that's what I look at as the competition. You know, the big tech. That's what I look at as competition. I don't look at the PS. I'm like, that's where I want to be. So I'm gonna like, if I want to be there, I need that to be my competition.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was a shocker. That was also a thing, and then also expanding also to Tel Aviv. That was a
Tel Aviv in Israel.
Yeah, in Israel. So there's also opening an office there. That was a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
the difference was the US was we wanted those customers and to be there, and Tel Aviv was a shocker. That was because we have so many customers here, we might as well open an office there. That was so it was
so the customers came to you.
Yeah, the customers came to us from there.
And did you have to physically go there to establish an office in Israel?
No, no, we do everything remote. Yeah, we signed the papers for to have the physical office there. We signed the papers there, for people to mail there, call or things. So we signed the papers there. I got hired people there to be there, do the groundwork. But I expect to go there sometime this year, just to show face. Also just to show that I do support the office being there and everything. Yeah, and just motivation for the employees.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've never even set foot in Israel?
I've never been in Israel and I've never been in LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you had to take the key countries, from what I gather, the key countries you're operational is Israel, the US, and the UK, right? The Netherlands. How would you say the business cultures differ in these localities?
I'll say the US is more money driven. They just want low cost, high quality. That's what they want. They and it's very competitive. But yeah, and I'll say the same for the UK. Yeah, the UK, no, they just want the best quality. US want low cost, high quality. UK want best quality. That's all they want. Israel, more culture. You have to get in tune with the culture. Otherwise, if you're disrespectful to the culture, you're done. Word will spread these guys, because they're more Israel. They're a very religious country, very cultural country. So you have to get in tune with that in order to. They
call them the people of the book.
Yeah,
the Jews.
They're known. There's a reason they're known for that. Because they go by a way of life. And you have to get in tune with that, because that's the way people think. So I think culture comes first for Israel before business, and then the other countries' business comes first before culture.
All right, let's talk about Botswana. What are you going to do for us? How are you going to actually start and operationalize your business this side?
Yeah, so with Botswana, we're registered here, but we don't operate here. So what we're going to do is, I've been speaking with my dad, and what we're doing is everything under the group of companies that we think will be applicable here in Botswana, we're going to partner with Inelite, and then they're going to be doing the groundwork for us. So we're going to be bringing our solutions here. The only thing we do here in Botswana is grey vault. Grey vault.
That's the billion.
Yeah. So that was specifically for here. But it was just launched. I think it was launched last week. That was
last week.
Yeah, last week.
So things are happening.
Yeah, all the time.
Fast.
All the time.
Yeah.
And I needed to launch it also before school, because I opened school this week.
Oh, okay.
So I needed to do that before school. And yeah, so in Botswana, I can't talk about what the next plan is
because it's too sensitive.
Yeah. But it's very exciting. It's a big pain for Botswana, so it's gonna. It's not for the money, but it's more. I get frustrated a lot doing anything here in Botswana. So I'm just gonna take.
Because people are skeptical or dismissive or what.
So.
Or they just don't take. They're just too chilled, laid back.
Yeah, there's this air of tolerance. We tolerate how things are. There's no. We need to innovate. We need to make this better. That was the thing I struggled with, because when I started business, I was doing it first in Botswana. First, bringing new solutions. The appetite wasn't there, and second, I think I was 20 no one was taking
Your
a
age
20-year-old. It was a deterrent.
Yeah.
No one was taking a 20-year-old serious.
Yeah.
You know, especially, you know, no disrespect, but especially elders.
Yeah.
You know, a 20-year-old coming and like, no, it wasn't there. You know, meetings would end before they begin because they hear and see me like, this guy is.
Yeah, he cannot be, and they're not prepared to open their minds.
Yeah.
So
that was a big problem.
Now, how everybody's talking about IT, machine learning, and obviously AI.
Yeah.
And how do you leverage those, and how do you see them as part of your company?
AI is a huge part. I think, you know, I don't know if you've heard about ChatGPT.
No,
the new AI that was released.
You can teach me.
It's a very powerful AI. But you can ask. It was released, you know, as part of Elon Musk's company, OpenAI. It's very powerful. It's like talking to.
Can you just say the name again and describe how it works?
So ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence that can think for itself. So it's online. They open it up to the public, so you can have a conversation with it. You can ask it anything; it will answer. So, you know, schools, universities now have a problem because students can go there and write an essay for me on this topic, and it will write the most. You'll get 100%.
I got a call from my son. My son is in Mauritius. He's about your age. He was saying this thing totally freaked him out. He couldn't sleep for 3 nights. The funny part was that he asked it to give him a poem about his dad who's into real estate. The poem is written by some sage.
Yeah.
And it was produced in less than a minute.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I'll just tell you, when Andile asked me for the questions, I went to ChatGPT.
The questions we're going to discuss.
I went to ChatGPT. I was like, okay, questions for an interview questions for a 22-year-old Motswana running a startup company in the UK, but presence globally. That's where I got the questions from, and it just in less than a minute the questions popped up.
You didn't have to think
personalized to me. You know, and
did you put your name in there?
I didn't put my name or anything, and it's incredible because
you didn't have to correct anything.
Nothing. I just copied and pasted.
Wow!
And it's incredible. This thing is it's going to revolutionize a lot.
Do you think universities might end up closing down? I mean, is it going to? I'm trying to think of the negative side as well.
The negative side, I would say, is, you know, when work is handed in, you won't tell the difference whether it was ChatGPT or the actual individual. For university work, you won't know. I know someone who's using it for their assignments and they're just averaging 80%. Yeah. And for work, when people want to submit work in the workplace, you can just go there and say, I need to do this research. You know, so I want to start I wanted to do, because I'm already starting the Grey Galactic. That's the aerospace company. So I've got a few engineers working on it. What we want to do is use a reusable rocket that's 3D printed. So I was thinking, if we're gonna go to Mars, and we're just going to use stainless steel and what they're using right now at NASA and SpaceX. I was like, but what if the rocket needs a part, a spare part or anything? How are we going to do that when it's in Mars? No resources. I'm like, okay, but what if we do 3D printing and you can just 3D print the part? You can just 3D print the part. You can be in Mars and just 3D print and just fix it. So I was like, okay, let's do 3D printed reusable rockets. So that's where we're heading, and that's Grey Galactic. So I was like, okay, now I was like, let me just have fun. Space company for reusable 3D printed rocket, or headquarters in Africa. Business plan. It gave me a business plan in detail, projections, market research, everything. Sales.
If you had made it specific to Botswana, it would have been.
I should try it. I should try it right, Botswana. But for the African market, it made it so detailed. I was like, this is incredible. This is
so all you do is follow that roadmap.
Yeah. And it's quite
And he tells you countries which have friendlier, economies or friendlier systems versus the others.
Yep.
And he suggests where you can start.
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible.
All right. The original question was how this is being incorporated in your business.
Yeah. So we utilize them. So I'm always reading the next thing. So now with this, obviously, I mean, I really have no choice but to use ChatGPT as a consultant now. I'm going to consult it for.
You want to save quite a bit of money.
A lot of money. I mean, why hire someone, a consultant, when you can now just use ChatGPT, which can give you the same quality work as a consultant, but for free.
Are they luring us into a false sense of security that this thing is free, and then 1, 2, 3 they start charging?
Yeah, I think right now they've opened it up to the public because they're testing it. So I think it's on version 9 now. So they're testing it. That's the only reason it's been. So I think they're gonna obviously charge for it because a lot of
eventually.
Yeah.
How long is this pilot open to the public part going to be?
I'm not sure. But I just know it's not going to be for free. I think Microsoft is in talks to buy 50% of it right now. Yeah. So they are going to charge us. What's nice is I was worried about the data they collect from me when I have it. But what's nice is you just use your Google account to sign in, and then you can ask it anything. No personal information is required. Yeah. So I think a lot is at risk in terms of when you're looking at the negatives, but we are going to use it as a consultant basically. And
I can see that the likes of Elon Musk and obviously the Steve Jobs of this world are very important to you. Who are your heroes, and how have people like that impacted you?
My hero, I'd say it's one of them is Elon Musk, and not for his goals and everything, but mainly his work ethic. I mean, this guy, he's the CEO of multiple, companies that are listed,
that are doing impossible things.
Yeah, and it's like he went to a highly competitive market, the vehicle market, and now that company is worth more than
Chrysler and Ford,
Toyota, Ford, GM, all these companies combined. It's worth more than that. And I was like,
although he did suffer a 70% drop, right?
Yeah,
last year.
Yes, yeah. I think.
But he's still
up there. It's incredible. And also, he's clearly not in from the money. He's lost the most amount of money in a short period of time ever in history, at a personal level, and he really doesn't care because he believes in what he's doing.
He does, and he's the long-term thinker.
Yeah, he's not focused. I remember Jeff Bezos also. Yeah, Jeff Bezos changed the way I think. So what he did is, he says what Amazon is doing now, we long planned it 4 years ago, and I was like, wow. So what I should be doing now, when I'm there
for your company.
Yeah, for my company is I should be the one planning what we're gonna do in 2026 third quarter. That's what I should be working on, and that's what that's what companies here should be thinking. That's the way they should be thinking. So that means delegating. And I know we struggle with delegation, but it's delegating. So Jeff Bezos, the way they think is really what I
from the way we look at things.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know if you've heard of Peter Diamandis. He also attended. He also works with Dan Sullivan.
I think your dad told me that he was part of the class that he attended.
Yeah, Peter Diamandis also.
You've met him?
Me? No.
No. Digitally or?
Digitally, no. Yes, I actually have.
Yeah.
So it's for his podcast Moonshot. The first people who subscribed, he had a one-on-one with. So he got to have one of them and ask him a few questions.
Oh,
and
I see.
So it was incredible.
Yeah.
So talking to him, you can tell this guy is next
way
level.
Above.
He's very far.
Yeah.
The way they think.
Okay. Now, when you come to here, in a sense, with this level of thinking, do you feel as if you are like a fish out of water? And what are you doing about it?
So what I do is why I do what I do is because I also want to inspire people, I always hear a lot of excuses for why I can't start a business. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna start a business.
Some of the ridiculous ones, like I don't have money.
Yeah,
that's the worst one.
That's not a reason. I started my companies with no money, using my allowance. I remember there was even a week where I was eating a pie a day because that's all I could afford, because all my allowance was going into the business. And it's like,
are you self-sponsored or dad-sponsored?
Dad-sponsored.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you take all his money and put it in this new business.
Yeah. My allowance just went all into it.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then people quote their age, many excuses. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna take your excuses and I'm gonna show you that those are not really excuses. If you really want it, you'll go for it no matter the barriers.
Those are not really reasons, they are excuses.
Yeah, they're just justification,
which means
for
they're
why
not real.
Yeah, at all. So it's when I come here, the thinking is very different. Here it's I feel for companies like Cedar and is it BDC, the companies that loan.
CD,
I feel
BDC
for,
and
they must
NDB.
They must be tired of people coming with a business plan for Homo, for things that we've been doing in Botswana for many years. They must be waiting for someone to come with like aerospace engineering. We're gonna do
something
that,
different,
create a whole industry.
The problem with that is that they may not relate as well. It's a double-edged sword. They might say, what is that?
Yeah, that's
like
the thing
you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. So you have to educate them, but also I always think Botswana needs a whole total cultural change in terms of the business space.
Yeah. Take a moment to talk about your colleagues and your peers, as I said, who, as you said, they don't start business. What about this mindset? How do you convince them, based on your experience, to embrace delayed gratification?
It's hard because in my generation, we grew up with instant gratification our whole way. I mean, you guys, when you grew up, just to talk to someone, you had to send a letter a few days, wait for it to come back. Now you can just instant message. That thing it's here, So in order, they have to realize that if you really want something, it takes sacrifice. That sacrifice it's constant sacrifice in the present for the future. And I don't think they've conceptualized that and understood the depth of it, the importance of it. That if you really want something, you're going to have to sacrifice in the present, go through hardship in the present, and knowing that in the future you're going to be better off. You're going to be doing what you're doing. And my generation is just going out. They go to school midweek, to go out on Friday, to go out on Saturday, to go out on Sunday.
That's dreadful.
And then
That's
they complain
horrible.
About where they are on Monday. When I'm like, but you went out 3 days in a row, 4 days in a row, and then you complain about where you are. It doesn't make sense.
Let's talk about trends in your field in terms of industry developments and trends. Share a little bit on that.
Okay, so the trend is, I'll start off with, I think the trend in terms of business in my field is everything is going digital, and it's very hard because it's very hard to keep up because things are happening so fast and things are being released so fast that to keep up is almost impossible. And sometimes we get left behind because, let's say there's been a new breakthrough in, let's say for the R&D, the Great Galactic, there's been a new breakthrough in 3D printing metal research, and we're doing our own research, and then we find out this has been out, so now that's money wasted. Keeping what we're doing is already out there. So the trend is everything is going digital, everything is going fast, 3D print,
But you're on the crisp of that trend. You're flowing in it.
Yes. So one of the goals is to keep with the trend. So I think one of the things is that the next I can share this one. The next big thing we're gonna be doing is affordable housing in Africa. So what we're doing is we're gonna be working with a 3D printer. We're gonna be printing houses using 3D printer. It cuts the cost of construction by I think 30%. This is EU housing standards, so it's quality housing, and we're gonna be deploying that starting in Botswana and then spreading across Africa.
How soon is that going to start?
I'll say within the next financial year. So within our next, so that's our financial year begins in May. So within the next.
So how soon are you completing at school? When will you be ready to give these businesses your undivided attention?
I finished in 2024 when I graduate.
Next year?
Yeah, next year. So I really can't wait for that because, sometimes I'll be like...
I suspect your dad insists you get that degree because it's... You know that, Bill Gates and I don't even know whether Elon Musk finished Steve Jobs. People
Mark
say that. They say that. But you are not following that trend.
No, I'm not. Because, the reason I go to school is to gain knowledge and to learn how to think, critical thinking, to learn how to start something and finish it. Because there's so many excuses to not finish uni. People say, Monty, you're a millionaire, self-made millionaire. Why are you still in school? And then I'll be like, because I'm there to gain knowledge, and also because you see that is an excuse to not finish something. But I don't want to be lazy. But I don't want to get into the habit of starting something and not finishing it. If I can do it there, what makes you think I won't take it anywhere else? So I can't do it there.
Because it goes down to discipline.
Yeah, and discipline is very important.
Yeah, so it's important for people to finish what they started.
Yeah, once you start something, finish it. Yeah. No matter how hard it gets, you don't want to get into the habit of not finishing. Yeah.
Any major setbacks, any cataclysmic event, anything that really floored you?
Yeah. We've started a few ventures where they completely failed and they completely costed the business.
Tell me.
So we wanted to start a neobank in the US. Neobank, yeah. So the neobanks, we have our traditional banks, our Take Care, the FNBs, the Absas, traditional banks that have been there a long time and everything. Then we have our neobanks. What we call them is challenger banks. So they're challenging the high street banks. So these are fully digital bank. They have no branches, and so they're highly customer centric, fully digital banks, and they work off convenience and innovation. So that's what we want to start in the US, and it was going to be a crypto one. So the crypto debit card.
Crypto debit card.
Yeah, crypto debit card, so you can spend your crypto. So we
particularly Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin.
Or it had Ethereum as well.
Yeah. So it's any crypto.
Any? Okay.
Yeah. I think the top 20 cryptos, top 30 cryptos, yeah. So those ones, you can buy any of them and you can spend it, wherever they accept Visa and MasterCard.
Yes.
So we started that in the US, we were there, we had everything registered, we allocated funds, we spent, we had our debit card was ready, then we launched. And customer acquisition was, we messed that up. We completely...
When you say we, you mean you and your partners?
Yeah, we completely messed that up because we have to pay for the platform because, the banks do banking as a service. So you have your own infrastructure and the banks have its own. So we don't produce the bank accounts. We just link our infrastructure to the actual bank and then it pings and generates a bank account number and everything, and then that pings to our infrastructure and it shows on our side. Yeah. So now we have to pay for that platform, and so we're allocating funds, pay, and then our customer acquisition, our growth is basically 0%.
After how long you said this is not working?
Yeah, I think after 6 months, I was like, this is draining the company of funds. We have acquired not even 100 customers. It's not working, and where we messed up was how competitive that market is. I thought because when we do our market research, there are like 5 major ones. The US, it's a large market with this space for us.
Because now people are very, very edgy about crypto in view of what happened to, is it XLT? The big collapse?
Yes. With the Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yes.
Yeah. So people...
So I don't even know whether crypto is still the thing. Is still a thing.
I think you can't get rid of it because, the algorithm, blockchain is there to stay. It's unhackable. You can't hack it. So you can't get rid of something that's unhackable, and that's fully digital. Doesn't require any funding to be there. So I think
it will be with us for a while.
Yeah,
for the foreseeable.
Yeah,
in fact,
trust has decreased definitely.
Yeah,
but when you look at the price of Bitcoin, it's been steady for the past, I think, year now.
How much is it now?
I think it's around $19,000.
Okay, but remember, it used to be closer to 70 at some point.
Yeah, it was huge, but that was when it was still fluctuating a lot. And now we've got it where we want to be stable, because everyone was criticizing how much it fluctuates. It's so.
So am I to understand part of your business is run through these digital assets? You accept Bitcoin as a form of payment?
We're looking into it. I've never been comfortable with Bitcoin because of how much it fluctuates too much. You can't rely on it.
No.
If I set a price like, let's say 30 Bitcoins, one day it's 30,000, the next day it's 70,000.
It's not going to work.
Yes, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So, but we're always monitoring the market to see what's happening there. But yeah, the biggest setback was that I think we lost a lot of money there. But we learn from our mistakes, we grow and everything.
So the key lessons is that if one is not working, walk away sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and we had to walk away soon because the market. The reason why we got it wrong matters. We got it wrong because of market research. So that's why we got it wrong. So because of that, we could walk away. We were like, okay, the competition is too much. There's nothing we can do to acquire those customers or anything, because the reason why we got it wrong was because there's no niche. There's no reason they should move to us. So that's the reason why we had to pull out.
I normally ask my guests whether there's money in what they are doing, but in your case, it's clear that there's plenty of it. So the question I'm going to ask you is that, how does it feel like to be a multi-millionaire at such a young age? How does that feel like when you compare yourself and you are truly the top 1/10 of 1%?
Yeah, it feels good, but I don't really think about it because I'm like, okay, thank you for telling me that, but I need to get back to what I'm doing now.
Yeah, you need to get back to work.
That's nice. I don't do a lot of PR. I don't. I'm not on social media.
This is your first interview?
This is my first interview. My Instagram account has 0 followers. Not 0 followers, but not over 500. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Twitter. I don't do a lot of PR because I don't have time for that, because I'm focused on I just need to keep. And also I'm in school. School and work is a lot. But yeah,
so you're focused on the mission.
On the mission. That's the goal. The mission. The goal is the mission. So the mission was never to be a millionaire or billionaire. The mission is, to launch, to put Botswana on the map for being in the space industry. That's the mission.
Yeah.
So yeah, being a millionaire, it's nice, but all my funds go back to the business. And my dad taught me to be very frugal with your spending. The clothes that I have now, I bought them 2 years ago and I'm still wearing them. The shoes 2 years ago and I'm still wearing them, because I don't do shopping, because you
got better things to do with your time.
Yeah, and I need to go back there. So yeah.
Speaking of that, any 2 or 3 habits that you have that are unique? For instance, I want to ask you how much time you spend on work and school. How do you allocate your time?
So during school, my time is allocated by so it depends which day. So usually school, during the day I allocate for school, and then by 5 p.m. that's when I knock off from school and go to work, and then work from 5 p.m. up until 1 a.m. Or depending on how much work there is.
1 a.m.
But 1 a.m. Yeah. And then we start the day again between 5 and 6. 5 and 6, and then that's the way.
Okay.
But usually that's the plan. But what actually happens is, now that I'm making work, because school has basically become my side hustle.
School has become your side hustle.
Yeah, school has become my side hustle. So now it's now more time is being allocated to work than to school. I remember my uncle was asking me, and Monty, like I was telling him what I do and everything, and he's like, and you still pass. And I was like, yeah, I still pass, you know. And he's like, yeah, but I'm not getting the grades I was getting before, you know. Now it's
you're
just,
happy with B's and C's.
yeah, I'm just happy if I pass.
Yeah.
You know, because
before you're obsessed with A pluses.
yeah, before I was obsessed, I need to get minimum 8 and above all the time. But now it's like, okay, you know what, if I pass, there's peace in
There's a
Africa.
book, I think it was by Kiyosaki, Why A students work for C students.
Yeah.
So I guess you're a C student now.
Yeah, and you know, I never understood him. I was
Yeah.
like, hey, student, but those are the smart guys. And then I was like, oh, now I understand.
Now you
You know, I'm a
understand it.
C student now, and you know, I got
And
people
how many
working for me.
engineers have you working for you?
I've got so these are aerospace engineers, and you know, they demand a lot of pay. So and Grey Galactic is more R&D. So I think I've got a software engineer. For an aerospace
So those are the A students then.
yeah, those are the A students
working for you.
me. Yeah, those are the
You
A
are literally a C student, as in you're getting C's and you're currently a student.
yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yes,
that
I think-
you're actually fulfilling the prophecy of Mr. Kiyosaki.
Yep,
Literally.
literally.
Yeah.
So I think I have five engineers working for Grey Galactic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, the answer is that you're not really balancing your time as a CEO, as a student. You are trying to make it harmonize.
Yeah.
But it's not balanced. It's not like equal parts.
Yeah, this thing of balancing and thing, I don't think it exists. You know, when people say you need to balance, you know, I love my mom and everything, but she always say, "Monty, 8 hours of sleep," and I was like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
There's no. Tell me a CEO who's managing a company that's worth millions and gets 8 hours of sleep during the startup period. And I was like, yeah, this.
Or even during the
the normal.
Yeah, I
you
think
know?
the normal thing is that the CEO will get the minimum sleep, because my employees have always wondered why they get WhatsApps from me 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
They
In
can't
the
understand
AMs.
that. I said, guys, that's the way it's been like that for decades. I don't know what to do about it.
And because of that, I take Jeff Bezos' thing where every day is day one. You know, the moment I started the business, day one, I work like that even now.
Yeah.
Every day is day one, you know, the hard work and everything. So really companies now, because of the trend and the rate of technology and innovation, every company has become a startup. Because if you stick with the same products and solution that you provide to the market, long term, you are going to go out of business. You need to keep reinventing and innovating if you want to stay in the business, you know, stay in the market.
True. You have to
Otherwise,
stay relevant. Yeah.
You know, every business is now becoming a startup all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
So a never-ending startup.
That's how it is now.
Yeah. All right. Let me ask you the crystal ball question now. If you can just paint a picture, 15, 20 years, what would brand Motheo Kgengwenyane look like?
15 years. Yeah, I think 15 years, the brand will be Motheo Kgengwenyane is the guy who started an aerospace company in Botswana. They said it was impossible. They said it couldn't be done. But you can see it here. You can see the launch pad. You can see the rocket. You can see. They said, you know, Botswana is a small country. You know, sometimes they tease Botswana saying it's just another province of South Africa. But now it will be on the map. You know, Botswana will actually be on the map for people come to us to launch their satellites into space commercially. You know, they do that. So I think in 15 years, that was what I'll be known for. And also, I hope to be known also to inspire people. You know, that next level thinking, to want that next level thinking, because it doesn't come. You have to go and get it. So I think that inspiration. Yeah. And also long-term thinking. You know, when people say, okay, we made a loss in this quarter, yeah, I'm like, it's a disaster. I'm like, that's not a disaster.
It's not a disaster.
It's a 20-year race, and we're only in year 3 or year 4. It's like, we're very far. You know, it's a 20-year race, so it's okay. You know, let's breathe and let's carry on doing.
I believe that's how they look at things in Japan.
Yeah,
they're always thinking even up to hundreds of years. I don't know.
Yeah, we
need to adopt that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, also UAE, they have a business plan for their country for the next 100 years. That's the level of thinking they're at.
At UAE?
Yeah, UAE. I mean, that's the level of thinking. And then we get surprised when, you know, they
Vision
everywhere.
2036 is
Yeah.
not. It's not.
It's not a vision.
Yeah, it's too short.
I was like,
Yeah.
we're really planning. I think I was still young, but I was like, I was like 3 decades, 4 decades. We're planning. It's like, come on, guys, that's too small thinking.
Yeah. No, I'm really fascinated by what you have to share, and really I have to take a moment to pause and say, am I really hearing you right, or am I dreaming?
Yeah.
Because you took the teachings of Sullivan and Motheo Kgengwenyane and applied them, and we have tangible results to show for them.
Yeah.
So what would I'm just imagining what would happen if for a change Botswana out there would say, wait a minute, let's just suspend disbelief and let's just assume, what if these gentlemen were right? What if Wabwana is right? What if Mogobe is right? What if Sullivan and Seligman and all these great brains that we try, whose thinking we're trying to inculcate are right? And then we adopt that thinking.
Yeah.
What for a country that would be so phenomenal.
It would. I mean, imagine we're a country of 2 million, so we can collaborate.
2.4, thereabouts.
2.4, yeah. So we can collaborate very well. You know, I know people see it as a disadvantage, but I'm like,
it's a huge advantage.
Yeah,
because UAE was about the same numbers.
Yeah, I mean, UAE and Botswana basically started at the same place.
Yeah,
you know, desert country, nowhere, nothing, no infrastructure.
Similar environments. Yeah,
we had diamonds, they had oil. You know, but the UAE, the difference was the how
vision.
They think,
yeah.
the vision. That's
and
the
how they implemented the ideas.
So I think that people should look at, we're not just talking. Look at what we've produced. That speaks to show that, you know, listen to these guys, because they actually have something to say.
Which leads me to my next question. How do you plan to scale the company, and how are you going to fund the scaling?
So the next thing is I don't like debt. But I know that I think it was Robert Kiyosaki. He says that debt is good. You know, he says if you fund your business using debt, because they don't tax debt. So then I was like, okay, yeah. So we're opening up also to investors, but that's not anytime soon. That's I think in 2025. That's when we plan on opening up to investors, and so we're gonna
publicly.
Pardon?
Publicly or privately?
Privately.
Okay.
Privately, yeah. So investors to get an injection of cash, and then also we'll be looking. Yeah. So we need an injection of cash to take us to the next level. Because right now, I mean, Grey Menu, it's become an in-house product. Because before we used to partner, and that's how we used to work. But now we're developing our own IPs, our own in-house products that are produced by us. You know, technology that's produced by us, and you know, to make it niche and very competitive, and to get the best guys. You know, then the guys who can think like.
So, what would be your best elevator pitch for investors? Suppose you wanted investment now. I understand that it's 2 years to come.
Yeah.
What would be your elevator pitch?
My elevator pitch would be, I'll start off from the goal and work backwards, and also just basically show them what they're investing in. I'll show them what we've done and the reason why we've done what we've done, and then I'll show them what they benefit from it, because obviously.
Go ahead, do it.
Short
pitch.
A short pitch. Let's see what product. Okay, imagine right now going to the bank. We need to go to the bank to create a bank account, a physical branch. Now imagine I can create a bank account from home in minutes, and my debit card is arrived tomorrow, and it's a fully digital bank, so no branches. You know, major cost of banks is branches, physical branches. No branches, fully digital. Create account within minutes. Keep track of your financials, because first of all, we don't have analytics for things. So imagine you have analytics. People can check their trend, their spending, and be like, "Ooh, I'm spending too much on groceries. I need to cut that down." You know, weekly.
Your bank does that for you?
No, it's an elevator pitch.
Yeah,
it's one of the things we're
working
on.
The idea is for the bank to do that.
To do that for you.
Yeah.
So we do that.
No, go ahead with the pitch. I'm following.
You can also, from our app, you can invest directly into stocks. You can as an individual, you can invest directly into crypto. We have saving pots, so you can say, 0.1 of all my spending from my current account to go into a savings pot that I do, that just, so you're saving and it's just there, interest. Have different saving vaults, for different things, cars, house, whatever it is, education, so all in one, not banking app, financial app, broader than just banking, all in one financial app, a powerhouse of a tool for consumers.
And you want the investor to purchase what percentage of the business?
So would be willing to give up, let's say 50% of the business. So we just need your funds to, kick off R&D. We're going to be the first in Botswana, first fully digital bank in Botswana. And so we need.
And if somebody says, where is the proof of concept?
Proof of concept is, let's look at the West. The challenger banks are there. Revolut is one of the biggest challenger banks out there. They're calling it the next Amazon of finance because they're there. So the proof of concept is it's worked in other markets. Now we're bringing it here, making it for Africa. We're not just looking at Botswana. People will look at Botswana and think this is where the fully digital bank came from. It revolutionized the finance industry in Africa, and we're going to be a thought leadership in our industry.
And who are the potential customers? And what's the cost of customer acquisition?
So our potential customers would be individuals. So we have our consumer banking and then also businesses. So imagine as a business, you don't have to go to the branch to open up a bank account. You can open a bank account within minutes online. And everything is done.
I think this pitch is going to be a good one. It's taking shape.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
But this is not the only business. There's so many other businesses.
Many other ones that
because it's a total of how many businesses that you are running or you see yourself running.
Great Techno, I think 5 businesses.
Running to start. Yeah. It's doable. Yeah. I'm at least running 11 or so companies.
Yeah.
But it's much smaller than what you're referring to here in terms of international footprint, because I'm limited so far to Botswana. Yeah. Listen, it's time for you to ask me one question before we wrap up.
What do you find meaningful in what you do? What's that moral obligation you have to yourself and to others, your local community, to do what you do that touches your heart and this can get me out of bed on a bad day?
Yeah. I think if you're thinking in terms of the entire business philosophy, can we have a positive impact on Botswana? Can we live the life of our tagline? Can we enthuse? Can we energize? Can we inspire? Can we empower? In an average day, am I doing 4 of those things? And am I able to do them simultaneously or in a combination? And with regard to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom in particular, meeting guests like you and having my brain on fire and having myself restrain myself from jumping from my chair makes it all worthwhile. I would never have this opportunity. I would never have not only to share this knowledge and also have quote-unquote proof of concept as that is there, it's doable. These things are doable. You just have to be prepared to teach yourself and to change the thinking, your thinking or your thermostat, so to speak. So those are the sort of things that excite me. So those are the sort of things that make me jump out of bed. And it's gotten to a point that on Thursdays, I literally jump out of bed because the idea of, meeting people and interviewing people and being on this program really, 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 really excites me. I hope I answered the question.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah. All right. We've come to the end of our conversation, but it's time for you to leave the viewer with one final all-encompassing, motivational, inspirational message.
What I would say is do what is meaningful and not what is expedient. So meaning do what you believe is your moral reason for you to be here. and not what is expected by you, by your parents, by your friends, uncles, aunts, teachers. Don't do what is expected from you. Do what is meaningful. And yeah, that's what I'd say.
That's very, very great advice. Do you want to share all your contact details if
sure.
people want to carry on with this conversation or do business?
Yeah, so you can find us greattechno.com. All our businesses are there. It's the hub for our business. Our holding company is called Grey X Group. So everything under Grey X Group is there.
Grey X?
Yeah.
Like a chopping X?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Google X, Space X.
Oh, okay, yeah. EX, okay.
Yeah. So you can get our contact details there, or send an email to hello@greattechno.com, or reach out. I'll even give contact details 722-4340, but best is email, because rapid response there, and we can just set something up.
Okay.
Anything.
You've done a great job, sir. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We wish you the very best.
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
Yeah.
It's an honor.
All right.